The more he speaks, the more knowledge we have. I can translate. Yeah. How are we gonna do it? How do we sit over there?
Ja, stimmt, wie machen wir das? Jetzt ist ja noch keine Panel-Diskussion. Es ist einfach so jeder zwei Sitze vorne oder.
Genau. Ja, du kannst als Moderation vorne sitzen oder you can sit both in front there. I would say sitting there is good.
Ja,
And then the two empty ones are for the people who are online.
ja, stimmt. So you use it, yeah, there and the others can. Yes. Die anderen können sagen, was sie wollen.
Yeah, you can sit here. We can sit here.
Yes.
Wir fragen mal auf Deutsch wegen der Übersetzung. Auch ob der übersetzen kann.
Yes, welcome to our workshop now. The second workshop about Congo and about exchange between Global North and Global South of today. And the idea today of this workshop is that we learn the activists from the Global South and Global North together, and also people who has questions to the activists. And yes, we have. And before I really explain, and I want to ask, okay, if there are people who only speak German. Also erstmal gibt es hier Leute, die die Englisch schlecht verstehen und deswegen gerne eine Übersetzung auf Deutsch hätten, denn der Workshop wird hauptsächlich auf Englisch sein. Dann gerne melden jetzt und dann können wir gerne eine Übersetzung auf Deutsch organisieren. Okay. Ja, wir übersetzen gerne. Vielleicht ist es dann gut, wenn die Leute, die nur Deutsch sprechen, in eine Ecke gehen oder so, dass dann eine Person da sein kann, die für alle eine Flüsterübersetzung parallel macht. Deine Frage kannst du holen. Klar. Ja. Okay. Ja, vielen Dank dir fürs Übersetzen. Okay. Gibt es noch mehr Leute, die gerne Übersetzung auf Deutsch hätten? Ja, gibt es noch andere Sprachen? Est-ce que quelqu'un qui seulement parle français? Okay. Yes. Okay, then I continue in English. And yes, the workshop will be mostly at English. The idea, as I said, is to learn from each other, especially see which different climate justice movements are in the global South, how activists from Global South, Global North can learn from each other. And we have two main guests, and yes, I welcome very much our two main guests. This is Dorcas from the Free Congo collective. I think she's especially active in Cologne. Yes, in Cologne. And of course, there's François. He already gave a workshop today and also spoke at a protest 2 days ago. He is an activist from the Congo, extra for the workshops here, for general networking, and especially for the speech at the protests that happened at Thursday. He came all the long way from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Here, he is a climate justice activist and also peace activist. Of course, he will tell you much more by himself about it. And actually, we also wanted to have 2 more people from the Congo, also climate justice activists. But unfortunately, their visa was rejected, a very intransparent process, and we don't really understand why it was rejected. There are no really rational reasons. These are Guillaume and Assi, and now they at least want to take part digitally and also can bring their inputs. Yes, and yes, now we want to start, and I think I give the microphone to you, and you just give your inputs
Okay. Hi, everyone. Then I will just start. First of all, thanks to everyone. I'm feeling very emotional seeing so many people here. My name is Dorcas. I was born and raised in Congo, in Kinshasa. But I myself am a war refugee because I had to leave DRC at the age of 9. This is around the time when the first wars erupted after the situation in Rwanda with the Hutu-Tutsi conflict. And yeah, ever since then, I've been living in Germany. It was not easy with my whole family getting here. And our goal was always to just be here for a while and go back after the war. It's been over 25 years, and I still have no hopes to go back home. Now I call Germany my home too, but I always say I have two hearts. Like DRC is my home, Germany as well, and yeah, the more I get empowered, seeing people doing so much work, seeing voices getting louder all over the world, speaking about the Congo and getting the truth out. Yeah, because before that, the talks were about like civil wars and just ethnic groups fighting. And the more knowledge we have now and the more people speak up, the more I and other people get the courage to also speak up. So thank you all for being allies, for listening, for helping us in everything you do.
Right. Thanks so much. My name is Francois Kamate Kasereka. I'm a climate activist and a human rights defender. I come from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where I was born and raised. So it's a pleasure and an honor to be here in front of you to talk a little bit about the situation in Congo. So you are welcome again. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Basti, and thank you to the team there. I am Guillaume Kalonji. I'm actually in the eastern part of Congo, and I'm a climate activist, founder of Rise Up Movement DRC. Yes, I'm supposed to be there physically with you, but unfortunately, I didn't succeed to get the visa. Maybe we talk a bit about it during my speech. Thank you so much.
So for me, it's the first time meeting with Francois, and I think I can talk a bit about, yeah. Oh, should I stand up or just louder? Okay. Yeah. So for me, I can give you a bit of input on the work we do here in Germany as the diaspora out of DRC. But like Francois has so much more knowledge because he's over there. And I offered to translate in case he doesn't feel comfortable with English. So we're going to try to do that. But I think everything's going to just be smooth and you can always ask questions.
Ça va. Merci beaucoup, Dorcas. Je pense que c'est encore un réel plaisir de t'avoir. Évidemment, je ne connaissais pas Dorcas. Je l'ai connue ici en Allemagne et je crois que c'est vraiment un plaisir de la rencontrer. Et voilà, elle a offert un service, donc elle va s'occuper de l'interprétation. Voilà, je suis très heureux de cela, quoi.
So he just said, thank you, Dorcas. I didn't know you before and we just met here. And it's such a pleasure to like work together, to also connect as people who have the same cause. So thank you. And yeah, thank you for volunteering to translate. So we might take a bit of time and see how we're going to do with the microphone. But yeah, I'm very happy also to give a bit of service here.
Good.
Asi.
Ah, okay.
Just joined, and then maybe if they have starts. So you can also if you want.
Assis, voilà.
Oui, allô, quelqu'un m'écoute déjà?
Oui, assis.
Ok,
Si vous voulez,
oui, je
vous
suis là.
pouvez, voilà, vous pouvez vous présenter en français. Je vais faire la traduction en anglais ou bien vous faites en anglais, comme vous voulez.
Ok, moi, je suis là. Moi, c'est Assi Katava Limelia. Je, je suis membre de ASBEL, Aman Institute. Je suis à Goma, précisément en République démocratique du Congo.
Voilà.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci. Yes. So Asi just introduced herself. Her first name is Asi and last name Amelia, and she is an activist in Goma, in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. And right, she works with activist group, pretty much the same as we do here. And she's very happy to be here. So thank you. Voilà, Assi et Guillaume, nous voulons un peu vous proposer de commencer avec la présentation, si vous voulez le faire en français ou en anglais, comme vous voulez. Et après nous, ici, nous allons continuer. Alors, donc, voilà, c'est à vous de prendre la place maintenant, si vous voulez.
D'accord, merci. C'est à moi de commencer ou c'est à Guillaume de commencer, je ne sais pas.
Comme vous voulez, donc si Guillaume prend encore un moment, allez-y.
Ok, merci de m'avoir accordé la parole. Je vais essayer de parler un peu de la vulnérabilité de la femme. Je ne sais pas comment ça va se passer. Je vais chaque fois parler et puis vous allez interpréter ou je ne sais pas comment ça va se passer. Si vous pouvez essayer d'expliquer.
Après 2 phrases, ça serait bien de faire une pause, comme ça je traduis.
Ah, ok, merci beaucoup.
Right, she asked if she should start or Guillaume, so I offered that she should just go for it because she's on the mic. And how we're going to do it is she's going to say like 1-2 sentences, take a break, and then I translate. Voilà, j'ai traduit, allez-y.
Ah, d'accord, merci. Je disais, je vais parler de la paix et la vulnérabilité de la femme ici en RDC précisément.
So she said she's going to focus on peace and also the vulnerability of women in DRC right now.
J'ai essayé de subdiviser le discours à 2. Je vais parler à 2 ou 3 points.
So she's going to talk about 2 to 3 main topics.
Je veux parler premièrement de la genèse de la vulnérabilité de la femme.
So she's really going to focus on the young women and also the precarious situations they are in right now.
Je veux parler de l'importance de l'activisme féminin ici chez nous en RDC.
And she's also going to talk about the importance of female or women activism in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Et à la fin, je veux conclure avec l'apport de Aman Institute comme activisme en RDC.
And to finish her presentation, she's going to talk about the Amani Institute, which is the group she's working with, and all the things, all the work they do in Congo.
La vulnérabilité de la femme aperçut le corps de la femme. Donc, la façon dont la vulnérabilité apparaît dans la société, c'est d'une manière générale comme la femme et son statut. Donc, la vulnérabilité apparaît de façon où la société aperçut le corps de la femme.
So when she's speaking about vulnerability, she's mainly talking about how society perceives the female body. How does society talk about women's bodies, and especially how they treat about it, like more objectively. So this is what her focus talking about vulnerability is going to be on.
Ici chez nous, la mentalité de certaines personnes savent que la femme est inférieure dans la société.
Right. And so there is a thing in Congo still today that when we speak about women, women are mostly seen as inferior in society compared to men.
Parlant de la genèse de la vulnérabilité,
So
je
when
veux parler,
no, allez-y, pardon.
parlant de la genèse de la vulnérabilité, je veux parler sur 3 points principaux.
Right. So when we speak about the precarious situation, especially of young women, she has 3 points she wants to make.
Sur le plan culturel, où on considère la femme comme réservée à la cuisine.
Right. So first of all, when we look into the culture, how most people understand it over there is that women's place is still in the kitchen, in the housework.
D'une façon générale, on prépare dès le commencement quand une femme est née, quand une petite fille née, grandit, on les prépare beaucoup plus au mariage que d'autres choses.
Right. And especially just thinking about it, when a girl is born, the focus mostly is that she's prepared for working in like for marriage or working towards marriage. She's always being prepared to be a good wife.
On prépare une petite fille, comment elle peut entretenir son mariage, comment elle peut servir le mari, comment elle peut se comporter dans le mariage, mais on ne le prépare pas pour autre chose comme projet, comme vision de la vie, comme autre chose.
So mostly the education young girls get is that they should prepare for marriage. They should get ready for later life. It's important for them to know how to how do I say, how to treat their husband, how to be a good wife, how to be a good housekeeper. This is really what they're taught, whereas there is more things that a young girl and then later a woman can learn, like to do projects, to be independent in her work, to get more education, higher education. But for most people, they focus on teaching them how to be a wife, how to be a housekeeper.
Sur le même point culturel, l'homme, donc dans la culture, c'est l'homme qui doit verser la dot dans notre culture. Et ça pousse à ce que l'homme ait beaucoup plus le pouvoir sur la femme, même dans le foyer.
And there's also a specific cultural aspect that other countries maybe might not have. In Congo and different tribes, there is this tradition of paying a dowry for the wife. So when you want to marry a woman or a young girl, you have to bring a certain sum of money for the parents to allow you to marry her. This seems like a transaction to most. And then it always gives like a certain power imbalance between the two. So when the man brings in the money and kind of pays for the girl, it means that he has more power than the girl or the woman.
Même dans le ménage, quand on grandissait, on avait toujours des frères et des petits frères, mais quand on grandit, on donne toujours beaucoup plus le pouvoir aux garçons qu'au sexe masculin que le sexe féminin.
And you see that this education is really deeply ingrained into children. Even young boys and young girls know the difference. Like for her, when she was growing up, you might have a younger brother, younger cousin, and you can grow up together in harmony. But along the way, the boys just know that their parents and pretty much everyone in the culture gives boys more power, more respect, more independence, so that even they notice it and they behave that way. They are stronger, they have more influence, and the women are always a bit left behind.
Comme on préparait beaucoup plus une jeune fille ou une femme dans le foyer, ça poussait que sur le plan éducationnel, qui est le deuxième plan, la faible présence de la jeune fille à l'école était beaucoup plus bas.
So you can see also that this type of behavior all across the society is going to lead women to just be more in the background. You can see that even observing their education and their career path. For many young girls, they would just fall behind at school and some later on even not continue with higher education because their focus was always to be prepared for being good at their marital life, at their family life, taking care of others, but not pursuing higher education and being more independent the way boys are being taught.
Sur le plan sécuritaire, c'est depuis, comme vous le savez, c'est depuis au moins 30 ans que notre pays est dans la guerre. Donc, nous sommes nés dans la guerre, nous grandissons dans la guerre, étudiés dans la guerre, nous cherchons la vie dans la guerre. Peut-être, mais nous avons quand même espoir qu'un jour la guerre finira. Mais sur le plan sécuritaire, nous avons beaucoup passé vraiment étant environ 30 ans que notre pays passe dans la guerre.
Right, and the next topic she wants to focus on is security. For those who know, the Democratic Republic of Congo has been in war for over 30 years, which means for most of us who are speaking here, we've grown up with war, or some have been born into war, and it's been going on forever. Even those who had hopes that it would someday end or it would be over, those who were hopeful, especially the girls, the women, they just grew up in this misery and kept on seeing this. But she's being very optimistic, saying that we're still hopeful, even so it's been going on for 3 decades. Most of us are still hopeful that one day this war will be over.
Comme vous le savez, quand vous parlez de la sécurité, il y a de la guerre, et puis la guerre avec toutes les conséquences qui arrivent après la guerre. Il y a les femmes qui sont violées. Environ au moins 66% des femmes, selon les rapports des Nations Unies, qui sont violées à cause de la guerre.
Right, and when we speak about security and you put in the aspect of the precarity of women's situations, it's not a secret anymore. Like when you just look up what's happening in Congo, you can read all the atrocities happening, and especially the situation of women is just very dire. She uses the words very precisely. So we're talking about rape in Congo, and especially rape being used as a weapon of war, as a means to really install fear and destroy a whole society. There's been countless reports. She mentioned the United Nations reports, and they have they regularly bring out numbers that go up to 70% of young women and girls that are being sexually abused just because of this ongoing war, and it doesn't seem to end.
Par rapport à la guerre, c'est comme si la femme est le premier effet de la guerre. Donc, celui qui ressent les conséquences au premier niveau de la guerre. Ils sont violés, ils sont traumatisés, ils sont affectés par les maladies sexuellement transmissibles, ils ont des grossesses non désirées. C'est comme si c'est la femme qui a vraiment des effets négatifs à cause de la guerre.
Right, and when we think of those women, it's really like they are the primary collateral damage of war. It's really like a whole mission to destroy the women's mental health, to destroy their standing in society, and also to traumatize them for long term. You just imagine everything that's happening. Those women are being sexually abused, and it's not just the rape that happens, but they're getting mutilated, and they're having all this trauma to carry, like when they have unwanted intercourse, they can carry disease with them, unwanted pregnancies, so many more atrocities that sometimes you cannot speak about. And it's just recurring when we look at the conflict in DRC, that this is what's happening, this is what's happening. It's like the war is really targeting women. It's really trying to destroy the society by targeting the women first, because they are the ones who are suffering the most and are being just experiencing the worst things and taking this trauma with them ongoing for year after year.
Ces défis-là ne permettent pas qu'une femme s'épanouisse et même qu'il jouisse des droits humains. Parce qu'ils voient à côté, à l'est, il y a la guerre, à l'ouest, il y a la culture, au devant de lui, il y a l'éducation, derrière, il y a la sécurité. Donc, ça ne permet pas qu'une femme puisse s'épanouir ou qu'il puisse jouir des droits humains d'une femme.
So if you just understand how, as he said, there's three main topics she mentioned. We start with the cultural aspects, where the woman is not really valued, and then in the educational sphere, she also doesn't have a place really because she's being prepared for a certain path in life. And then you have this ongoing war where she cannot go east or go west because wherever she goes, she's just gonna face all these three problems, but especially just being devalued by being used as a pawn in a war that they did not want, is really making it difficult for women to blossom, to really evolve and find their own path in life and really develop their own lives and their own independence.
Partant de l'activisme féminin en RDC, je dirais qu'il est très, très important dans le contexte de notre pays, du sens que l'activisme brise le mythe qui soutient que la place de la femme est à la cuisine.
Right. So in terms of female activism, then it is very important to really look into what's happening and also giving them a chance to kind of find a way out of it.
Ça encourage et ça donne l'espoir à des femmes de lutter, faire comprendre aux gens aussi de participer la participation d'une femme doit être un droit et non une faveur.
So female activism should also be very much supported and pushed to the front, because when women see, or young girls see, that they have space and it's not just like a favor or a permission, but they're an important part of activism, it's going to push them more forward, encourage them more, and give them more courage and more space to express themselves.
Je vais essayer de parler un peu de mon expérience personnelle par rapport à l'activisme.
Right, so Asti is going to now talk more about her personal experience being an activist.
Au début, ça n'a pas été tellement facile, en tout cas, d'intégrer l'activisme par rapport au contexte de notre pays.
Right, at the beginning, it was not really easy to be an activist concerning the situation the country is in right now.
À un moment, on avait la peur. À un moment, on avait la pression familiale, et à un moment, il y avait l'entourage, donc les amis et les autres, qui donnaient quand même l'émotion, comme l'activisme souvent était dans le contexte des hommes. Et à un certain moment, quand une femme intègre l'activisme, c'est toujours difficile.
Right, so from the get-go, there were always a bit of pushbacks concerning what the family was saying and thinking, what in general the activism groups were set up, and also what friends and close people were just putting as fears into her, so that thinking about activism and really going into it was not really easy.
À part Amani Institute, je fais membre aussi je fais l'activisme dans un mouvement citoyen qui s'appelle la Lucha. Et là-bas, c'est quand j'avais intégré, en tout cas, principalement l'activisme. Et l'expérience que j'avais là-bas au premier moment, c'était pas facile par rapport à ma famille.
Right, and aside from her activism with Amani Institute, she's also in this resistance group called La Lucha. And all the experiences she could gather along the way was thanks to working in those groups. It was really not an easy approach to think about getting into activism, but thanks to those two groups, she could blossom and learn new things.
À un moment, moi, je comprenais parce que par rapport, c'était toutefois normal avec la famille, comme dans le contexte de notre pays, quand il y a toujours une manifestation, il y a perte d'hommes et c'est toujours normal et on comprend qu'une famille a peur de te perdre et a l'émotion de te dire non, il ne faut pas faire ça, il ne faut pas faire ceci, tu es une femme, normalement une femme ne doit pas faire ça, mais c'était vraiment une culture de ne pas voir en tout cas une femme dans l'activisme.
And as she said, even getting into this activist space, it was a male dominated area. And even the way the understanding is in the country, everything that happened concerning activism, resistance, rebellion, it was always a male dominated field. It was always men doing all the talking, being in the forefront. And that's why also family and friends were very concerned about her security, because they said when you go to marches, when you do resistance in a country like DRC, your life is always in danger. People are very worried about your safety. Lives are being lost and horrible things happen. So everyone was really worried for her security and for her going into this activism.
À un moment, je me disais qu'il faut peut-être laisser ou il faut abandonner, mais en tout cas, comme je savais que j'ai un bagage que je dois apporter à mon pays et j'ai quelque chose il faut que je me dise à moi que j'ai amené quelque chose pour mon pays. J'ai fait au moins quelque chose pour que mon pays reçoive dont il a besoin.
Asti, juste une information, il te reste encore 2 minutes, d'accord?
Oui, merci.
De rien.
Je suis en train de finir.
D'accord. So for her getting into activism, it wasn't really easy, but she had this like intrinsic wish, this push coming from inside of her, saying that it is important to keep going, even though it's a little thing. It's important for her country, and she can do a little thing to shape the community, to shape the society. So this is what was like driving her to continue.
À un moment, j'avais compris qu'en tout cas, l'activisme donne l'inspiration pour les autres, car les autres même, ça donne l'inspiration même pour les hommes et pour les femmes. Quand un homme te voit, toi, une femme, faire l'activisme, ça lui inspire et ça lui dit, non, comme c'est une femme aussi qui l'a fait, moi aussi, moi je suis homme, je dois aussi le faire.
Right. And something else that really motivated her was the fact that being a person who is courageous enough to go into activism, even though it's so dangerous, was to see how it could inspire women and men around her. Because not just women seeing her doing it, young girls seeing, but also men, those who had no courage going into a field that was male dominated, they kind of found courage and inspiration from seeing her doing what she does.
En fait, je vais essayer de conclure à parler de ce que l'activisme dans Amani Institute essaie d'apporter aux femmes victimes de violences dans notre pays.
Right. So to conclude, she would like to also give a bit of an insight of how Amani Institute is working towards shedding light of what is happening to women in the Congo.
Avec Amani Institute, on essaye de faire de nos mieux pour encadrer des femmes violées, des jeunes filles qui ont été violées. À Rutshuru, nous avons par exemple les jardins potagers où on plante des légumes et après on les donne aux femmes violées comme activité génératrice de revenus.
Right, so they have a few projects that are specifically targeted towards women and young girls who have been victims of sexual violence as a consequence of the war. One of the projects, for example, is they have this garden where they have different plots, different units. They volunteer to women who have had a negative experience, and this little project they get allows them to to flourish, to change a bit the setting, but also to like have a little thing to self start, like a business, a hobby, and just have a routine back into their lives.
aux jeunes filles mères, on les encadre sur le plan éducatif, spécialement dans l'entrepreneuriat, mais aussi psychologique, à leur donnant l'espoir de la vie, à leur dire qu'il y a toujours quelque chose de bon là-devant. Donc, on les encadre d'une manière générale, à leur aidant d'avoir l'espoir de la vie.
Right, as she said, a consequence of the sexual assault is usually that young girls are suddenly in the position of being mothers. So to help those also find a perspective and also a bit more of a positive outlook in life, they help them with project work towards entrepreneurship, and also to go towards more education and learn how to do business. So with those projects, they allow the women to be more creative, to think a bit more independently, and also to have a brighter outlook on life because they find something meaningful to do in their lives.
C'est pas en tout cas tellement beaucoup ce qu'on fait, mais on s'est dit quand même que nous devons apporter quelque chose pour notre pays. C'est pas pour les mamans, mais on le fait aussi pour les mamans et pour notre pays parce que nous avons besoin que ça change et que, en tout cas, un jour qu'on voit un changement dans notre pays.
Right. So she said humbly, it's maybe it doesn't seem much, or for herself, it's like it's just a little thing they're doing. But when we think globally, it really is making a difference, especially for women, for young girls, for mothers, because it's allowing them to see maybe some more positivity and having more hope towards a change in their society. The end.
Merci beaucoup. Je finis par là. S'il y a une petite question, je ne sais pas où.
Right. So
Ça, c'est beaucoup. C'est la fait.
Asi would like to thank you all for listening, and she's at the end of her presentation, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask away. Merci, Asi. Yeah, I think it takes a bit longer with the translation, but you guys go ahead then, or we can then. Oh yeah, Assis, c'est des questions directement pour vous ou bien comment on fait?
Oui, il y a une question.
No, like she's just asking everyone if there's any question, otherwise we continue. Okay, we have 2 questions if anyone has. Voilà, nous avons le temps pour 2 questions, donc nous attendons s'il y a des questions, sinon nous allons continuer. Okay.
Les questions vont venir après.
I don't think. Oh, there you go. Yeah, we have 1 question. Nous avons une question?
What's the consequence? Oh, nice. All right. Hello. My question is, what's the consequence for women that suffer sexual abuse in the society itself, since the society has like a specific place for them? What does it mean as a consequence?
S'il y a eu une question en anglais, vous avez compris ou que je traduise?
Vous pouvez traduire.
D'accord. I'll just translate. Voilà, il y avait une question ici concernant les conséquences pour les femmes violées. Donc, vous avez parlé de l'aspect de société, culture, la position d'une femme. Donc,
Oui.
quand on voit qu'il y a une femme violée ou une jeune fille qui a vraiment été victime, comment est-ce que ça change sa position dans la société?
Merci beaucoup pour la question. Je le parlais sur le plan culturel, c'était le deuxième point. J'ai dit les conséquences des violences, en tout cas, sont nombreuses en tout cas. J'ai parlé d'une femme qui est violée traumatiquement, en tout cas, il n'est pas stable d'une manière psychologique. Elle est vraiment traumatisée.
So thank you for the question. And as she mentioned in the second part of her presentation, the position of a woman in the culture is very specific, or in society. So when she's a victim to sexual abuse, first of all, just thinking of the woman first, she's traumatized, deeply traumatized. Oui.
Deuxième conséquence, il est affecté par des maladies. Vous savez, ce sont des hommes qui viennent, qui violent, ils passent, et encore l'autre vient, il viole, il passe. Donc, il est toujours exposé aux maladies sexuellement transmissibles.
And the second consequence for most women is that they are then are contaminated with sick illnesses, very grave illnesses that are not really well perceived in society. The ones who get assaulted, for most of them, it just doesn't happen once. One person might come and rape, and then the next, and then the other, and then you can, be contaminated with all sorts of disease.
L'autre conséquence, ils sont souvent enceintes par des grossesses où elles ne savent pas qui, c'est les grossesses de qui, comme il y avait peut-être 10 personnes, ou il y a 20 personnes, ou 5 personnes, elles ne savent pas, elle a toujours des grossesses, elles ont toujours des grossesses non désirées.
Oui, Assi, avant que je continue, c'est plutôt l'aspect comment est-ce que la société va percevoir la femme. Donc, de l'aspect, est-ce qu'on va l'exclure de la société, de la vie publique? Comment est-ce qu'on se comporte envers une femme qui est violée? I had to correct the question, sorry. So she explained the consequences for the women, but now we want to know how the society is going to behave or the community towards her. Oui, voilà.
Donc, c'est comment la société peut la percevoir quand elle est violée. C'était ça la question?
Voilà, oui.
D'accord. Avec la société, quand une femme est violée, et elle est réticente devant les autres. Donc, normalement, quand elle est violée, elle ne peut pas venir dire qu'elle est violée. Pour dire que la société ne l'approche même pas.
Okay, voilà. So she mentioned all those aspects like the disease, the trauma, and also unwanted pregnancies. So from the other side, like when society might know that she's been a victim, it's going to be a situation like she gets ostracized, like she's not valuable anymore for the society because she has lost something that's very important that makes her like a woman and maybe a perfect wife to get to be married to. Yeah.
Souvent, elles ont peur de dénoncer même qu'ils sont violés parce que quand ils vont dénoncer qu'ils sont violés, peut-être que c'était une femme mariée et que son mari, ça, c'est déjà qu'elle est violée. Elle ne va pas le dire parce que son mari va les chasser même de la maison.
All right. One key thing she said before is that the first hurdle is to come forward with the information because usually it's a taboo to talk about being assaulted because it might have been a woman who is married. So when she has to come forward to explain to people that she had been a victim in that sense, it can have grave consequences for her life. For example, her husband might reject her, kick her out. People might ostracize her because she has been tainted. She has been through this thing that is unspeakable. Oh, yeah.
Merci beaucoup. Je ne sais pas si j'ai répondu à la question.
Bien répondu. Merci. Nous allons continuer parce qu'il y a encore une question. Merci, Assi. Right. There's another question. Let's go.
Hey, thank you for the talk. My question is, in the activist groups, do you have any strategies in place how you support each other with chores? And, for example, if women want to be active, is there someone else taking care of kids while they're planning a demo, for example, or something like that?
Voilà, une deuxième question, Assi, juste une brève réponse de ta part. La personne demandait quand une femme est activiste, elle a sûrement d'autres obligations, peut-être les enfants et tout ça, elle s'occupe d'autres choses. Comment est-ce que son groupe peut la soutenir pour qu'elle se concentre sur son activisme, soi-disant peut-être s'occuper des enfants, de la famille et tout ça? Comment est-ce que vous vous soutenez pour être capable d'avoir le temps pour faire l'activisme?
En tout cas, je ne saurais pas dire qu'il y a... Donc, quand on fait l'activisme, tu t'engages d'abord, tu as l'objectif de t'engager pour l'activisme. Il n'y a pas quelqu'un ou une organisation qui viendra pour vous aider, pour dire que non, il faut faire ceci, non. Si toi-même, ça vient de toi et que tu es engagé de faire quelque chose, tu te lasses. Parlant des enfants et autre chose, c'est à toi de t'organiser pour que tu fasses tes enfants et tu fasses l'activisme au même moment. Il n'y a pas vraiment quelqu'un ou une organisation qui va te soutenir en faisant l'activisme ou je ne sais pas quoi. Non, toi-même, comme tu es engagé, tu as envie de faire quelque chose et que toi-même, tu vas t'arranger de faire le deux à la fois.
Oui, merci Asti. François voulait aussi compléter la réponse. Merci. She just said for the activism, it's really very much, well, it's your own responsibility. There's no bigger, I don't know, maybe Germans know it like kindergarten or something, someone who's going to step in and take care of your children. If this is your own mission, you have the wish to do it, you have to manage yourself and know how to compartmentalize and delegate so that you can do activism and take care of your family.
Ah oui, merci beaucoup. Peut-être que je puis parler même ça micro pour vous permettre de faire la traduction. Je peux utiliser ça. Voilà, peut-être un élément d'ajout sur ce qu'Yassi a dit, c'est que nous sommes liés par des principes et des valeurs. Par exemple, une femme mariée qui participe à une manifestation des rues et du coup on l'arrête, elle laisse les enfants à la maison. Il y a ce qu'on appelle le principe de solidarité. Nous avons une ferme solidarité entre nous. Et des deux, il y a ce qu'on appelle les risques ensemble. Ton problème est le mien. Donc, lorsque, par exemple, la femme a été arrêtée, entre nous, nous nous organisons, nous essayons un peu d'apporter des petites contributions pour aider sa famille, le moment où la femme ou la personne qui a été interpellée est en prison ou peut-être à la police pour une petite interpellation, et ainsi de suite. Merci.
So François wanted just to add on to that. So when it comes to activism, especially in their groups, they are driven by this mindset of solidarity and each one help each one. So when, for example, for women especially, they are the primary caretaker of children. So when one decides to be active, to go on the streets, to march, and it happens that they are detained or they're held up by the police, brought to prison or whatever, they will have people from the group who will solidarily come together and put systems in place to support them. So it's not like, okay, she's gone, so the kids are going to look after themselves, but they know each other and they know, okay, if one needs help, we're going to step in and do our best to take care of the family, let them know what's happening and take care of them until they are free to go back home. Right. Thank you, Asti. Merci, Asti. And thank you, François. Okay. So maybe Guillaume, est-ce que tu veux maintenant présenter? Il nous reste encore 13 minutes pour continuer. We don't have... Ach so, ich habe 13 verstanden. Sorry, we have 30 minutes, not 13. Guillaume, nous avons encore 30 minutes. Allez-y.
Merci beaucoup. Je ne sais pas si j'aurais besoin de ma vidéo ou non. Je sais pas. Je peux ouvrir.
Is
à la
he
fin.
like, should he put the camera on? Do you want video or is it? Guillaume, est-ce que tu es, pardon, je vais tutoyer. Est-ce que tu es confortable en anglais, comme ça tu peux parler en anglais?
Yes, I will be speaking in English.
Perfect. Then you can turn on your video if you want. Turn on.
I will open it at the end of my speech. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, good. Thank you once again for this amazing opportunity. And thank you for the team organizer, Congo Basin Alliance. Thank you also to all of you who are attending this panel. I'm very, very grateful because here you are not listening to my voice, but you are listening to the voice of millions of Congolese people who are actually victims of climate injustice. Um, Before to continue, I just need to mention something about this issue of visa. You know, Democratic Republic of Congo is one of the biggest African country. Is the only one country where there is 60% of the Congo Basin forest. Is the country who is giving, uh, I can say, the maximum of resources that the planet is using for the energy transition. But I understand why it's very, very difficult for all these people to be present in the climate spaces internationally. That is one of the big injustice that we need to talk about. We applied for the German visa together with my friend Francois and Assi in the same place, same embassy. We we had same documents, same flight tickets. All things was okay, but the embassy just told me that they don't trust me that I will come back to Congo after being in Germany. While I have in my passports American visas, African visas, Asian visas, so I just feel discriminated, and we need to start talking about this because today it's not normal to talk about Congo without Congolese people, to use Congolese resources while discriminating Congolese peoples. So once again, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. Denying me the visa can't limit my voice because even without speaking, I'm always sharing messages of millions of Congolese. Thank you so much. So I'm so sorry for my English. You know, I'm from the French country, and when I started climate activism, the first challenge was the language, and I decided to teach myself English in 1 year. That's why I'm useful in the international climate spaces, breathing voice of the voiceless, voice of millions of Congolese. So I'm going to talk about climate justice focus on Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. First of all, we need to know that when climate change comes, when the planet started to face the actual climate impacts, we have been in an obligation to become dependent each other, each countries to other country. And in that dependence, there is some countries who have resources that is necessary to adapt on climate change, and other countries have, I can say, money that can help to build that adaptation. In clear, the global north and the global south. But what we are seeing today, it's all the contrary. We are seeing a big injustice in this issue of adaptation. And to adapt to climate change, the world is moving toward green energy. And this is advancing with the new technology. This is made possible by mining resources, of which Democratic Republic of Congo is contributing with 70% worldwide. And the social and climate injustice behind this technological progress, that is the target of my activism. A bit of my experience on this climate injustice. I was born and raised in a capital city, Kinshasa, which is the capital city of Congo. but I never saw electricity until I was 20 years old. This is a shame in the 21 century, a condition that keeps those of my generation in underdevelopment to this day. I had to go to the United States in 2023 before I saw and use it an electric vehicle. I had to reach the age of 24 before being informed about climate change and its dynamics. Having experienced floods every year during my childhood and a disruption of seasons shortly before starting my university. In my country today, things are upside down. In the past, the villages fit to towns, but today it's the towns that feed the villages. And as there is no agricultural activity in the cities, this means that we import even the feed to our villages due to the disruption of the seasons and the lack of agricultural equipment. I had to learn English on my own in a year before I could value in the presence in the present panel, for example, and to learn about this personal experience. In the meantime, my generation in the global north is already producing but it's need to adapt on the climate change. While here in Congo, we are still trying to see how to get food. So the decision of the international climate spaces when they are taking decisions about adapting on climate change or any other decision, they need to take care of African context, a global South context. That means it is not possible to ask the global South countries the same things they are asking the global North. I'm going to explain. This is the second time they will be asking countries to present their NDCs, national determination contribution to adapt on climate change. So here in the global South, we are able to elaborate our NDCs, but we are not able to put them in practice. The justice in this context means African countries, or I can say Democratic Republic of Congo, needs to be supported with what it needs to adapt on the climate change to execute our national NDC. And that is not yet put it into practice. Today in Democratic Republic of Congo, when we talk about climate injustice, there is so many issues. I'm going to explain just a few examples. Meeting you have been made possible because we use it computers, we use it iPhones, we use it any other kind of telephone, we use it internet and so on. And we know that to produce those materials, it needs minerals, and those minerals are coming from Congo. Countries that are producing and using the most of those materials have conditions that is not actually in Congo. In Congo, actually, there is around 40 million children who are working in the mining seats to produce those materials we are using today. Those children are below 18 years old, even below 10 years old. Instead of being at school, they are working for free in the mining seats. That is what we call green slavery.
Oui.
And
Guillaume, s'il te plaît, il nous reste encore 5 minutes. Après, nous allons prendre des questions, si tu peux arriver à la fin.
good. I'm
Merci.
going to finish very quickly.
Thank you.
So instead of being at school, children of Congo are in the mining seats. That is the first injustice that we are facing here. The second one is the country who is producing the minerals to build that green transition is actually under a big war which is taking place since 3 decades only because there is minerals here. I can say that that is a justice. While you are receiving things, you need to give also something good. But we are receiving what is killing people, what is making us to suffer a lot. And there is also another kind of injustice here. While they are asking Congolese people to protect resources like the forest, for example, the Congolese people who are living in the forest or neighbor to the forest needs to have alternatives like economic alternative or energy alternative to help them stopping deforestation. But today they are being supported with nothing, and nothing. And actually, they are asking themselves, so one, we are victim of the climate change. Two, we need to stop deforestation. So how are we going to survive? How are we going to do things? So I think today it's not possible for a country or a person anywhere in the planet to say that he is going to adapt on climate change himself. It is impossible. It needs to support each other, to support each country, so that the sum of efforts can be put it together and see how to build the adaptation for climate change to the planet. And finally, I can say that today, when we are talking about climate action, that climate action can never be possible without climate justice. Thank you.
Okay, we have time for 2 questions, so ask away. Thank you, Guillaume.
You're welcome.
Bon, sans souci. Ouais.
Guillaume,
go ahead?
yeah, you understood, right?
Good. Thank you so much for that question. First of all, you are already supporting Congolese climate activists with what you are doing, actually asking us to share our voice to you so that you can know what is happening here. That is sound good. Secondly, you can also support groups of climate activists who are trying to do something. For example, I am leading an organization here called Rise Up Movement Congo, and actually we are working on the project of climate education and we are also trying to promote energy, the just transition. So one of the best kinds of supporting as a group is maybe trying to help us accessing international climate spaces, because talking about the climate change only nationally is not enough, because those who are polluting are not in Congo. They are outside and they are meeting every year somewhere to discuss. So helping us to reach out to them and being part of the negotiation table, that will be also something good. And in our activities on the ground, it also needs some support in terms of logistics. For example, if we need to raise awareness in a village, you know that in our villages there is no electricity, and we want to teach them, to help them with climate education sessions, while showing them in pictures, showing them some small videos on what is happening. So if we don't have equipment that can help us to do that, our activities will not be a success. So if it is possible to help us accessing materials that can help us to succeed in our activities, that can also be a good kind of support. Yeah.
Merci. Si je peux aussi ajouter quelque chose de ce que Guillaume était en train de dire.
Parfait. Merci, Assi.
C'est que la première des choses, vous contribuez déjà à l'activisme, à créer l'espace pareil, et que les autres comprennent ce qui se passe dans notre pays, les autres savent. Il y a déjà aussi qui ne savent même pas ce qui se passe ici. On croit à ce que si les autres savent de ce qui se passe ici chez nous, ça sera une lutte pas seulement pour nous, mais les autres aussi littéraux aussi, pour que nous aussi nous puissions avoir un beau climat, ou bien nous puissions avoir la paix. Donc ça sera une lutte pour nous tous.
Merci, Assi. So Assi just completed what Guillaume said. The biggest support is really seeing all of you being active, but also speaking up. So you are amplifying the voices of those who are speaking over there. They cannot be here, but we are here. You are here. So the more you speak about it, because it is crazy, it is just unimaginable to think that some people still don't know about what is happening in the Congo. But this is the bitter truth. So it's better for us to just keep talking, and the more of us speak up, the more of us amplify their voices, the more it's going to lead to a more just society and hopefully the end of the war.
Merci.
Right, thanks. I don't know if I will add something, but Guillaume and Assi have said everything about any kind of support that we may need, like activists, especially climate activists. Just what you are doing, your presence here, this is the first support. There are other persons outside the camp who maybe got the information, but they didn't get any interest to come here. And of course, the second support is to amplify our voices. This is just what you are doing. And maybe to get some materials, because we are in a context where it is difficult to get roads, for instance. We need to meet people in the villages who are very far from the different places where we are living, because we are working on different campaigns. Save Virunga campaign. This is a campaign that we launched 2 years ago. We have more than 50 villages around Virunga National Park, because Virunga National Park is one of the Asian parks in Africa. It was created in 1925, and there is a very big conflict of oil exploitation in that park, and people who are living around do not have, successful education. They do not have any kind of environmental education or just something. They are ignorant. People think that the effects of global warming are only, are only here in Europe, in I don't know, United States of America, in Asia. Yet they are living them in the country, in their country, especially Congo. So we need sufficient time to meet them, to discuss with them, to show them that it is bad to cut a tree. When you cut one tree, you need to plant 10 trees, 20 or more. This is what I can say in short. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So I think just to finish, thank everyone who spoke before me. It's for me, it's really an important learning process. The key things they said is really this amplifying the voices and also showing solidarity, because what we or let me say I myself as a Congolese keep on criticizing is really the imbalance between how other groups are being supported, how other people are being supported, and when you look at the conflicts that are being pushed in the media, it's really, really sad to think of the children and the women in DRC who are just being neglected and not talked about enough. It's a horrible topic, and it's really, there's enough resources. Like, you could go down a very negative rabbit hole and just cry and cry because you see women are being mutilated, they're being done the worst things, and on the other hand is just a lot of other people just consuming, over consuming, just keep on living their lives, and quote unquote saying that, oh, we're trying to be climate neutral, or there's deals about like carbon offset, so you just pay some money and then you're free to be more green, more your environmental sins are being forgiven or something like that. So it's a high level, it's more complicated than what I said, but we need to really talk about climate justice, as the others said. Also the part of educating everyone. A friend of mine who's very active in like around I forgot what's the name of the place, but it's not in Goma, but a bit out of it. I think it's Bukavu. And she said that there's a lot of criticism towards them, the villagers, about villagers wanting to cut down trees. They're destroying the forest and it's not right, so they're getting the criticism. Although their intention sometimes by cutting down trees is to prevent women getting raped in the forest. Because when men are not there anymore, men leave the families because they are traumatized, or they have to fight or go for work, whatever. The women are the ones who go to the village, to the forest to look for food, to look for wood, for making fire, cooking, and so on. And when they go into a dense forest where it's dark, they don't know where the danger is coming off. They're so much more in danger of being abducted and being raped. So they're kind of forced to get rid of the forest. But then you get all those international groups coming in and saying like, oh, you shouldn't destroy the forest, you shouldn't cut down trees. They're important for the environment, but who's protecting the ones who have to go into the forest and get some food? So it's sometimes really, I don't want to say low level, it sounds very negative, but it's like we have to think more globally and also take into account what the people over there are saying and what they need, and not just for us to just check our boxes as in like, now we have more electronic cars, so we are green and everything's gonna be fine. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you very much for this very important, very interesting and inspiring talk, especially also Assi, Guillaume, that you speak and take so long and so interesting things about your activism in Congo. And of course, we would have wished that you really can be here in place, but at least now you was involved digitally, and I think this has worked, your involvement quite well. And also thank you very much here that you can be here in person. Also François from the Democratic Republic of Congo, also Dorcas, maybe there. I can also add that thank you very much for the amazing translation. It was really very good. It was very precise. A big applause. Was just impressing. Yes, and also for this kind of moderation that you did. Maybe this is a point that we can improve in the future. And also I want to add to this, she was asked 1 week ago whether she can be here because unfortunately the visa were rejected, and immediately she said it's a project. Yes, I will come. I even come from Dortmund spontaneously here to Berlin. Yes, so thank you very, very much for you all too. Yes. Yes, and of course, thank you very much for your question, yes, for your attention, yes, for attending the workshop, and I hope you get important messages that you can use for your activism in the future. Thank you. Bye.
So there will be a second workshop in about 15 to 30 minutes. We will start here as well. A panel discussion where also Dorcas can say a few more words instead of moderating. Okay, thank you.